Hi guys. In the 8th of September 1999 in an high-town Xinjiang city, Fujian province, China, there's been a particularly serious murder case. Deputy General Director of Hengan Group, Mr. Wu, is exhausted with his wife and two beautiful daughters. He was killed in his own house. And the strange thing is, a few months ago, your oldest son has just died. Due to the serious nature of the case, Fujian Provincial Police Department and Xinjiang City Police Department formed an investigation including more than 60 to coordinate people. The case. They travelled across 16 provinces and 36 with a distance districts of more than 40,000 kilometers. Interviewed more than 10,000 people, investigating nearly 1,000 clues. Has offered a reward of 2 million RMB to catch the killer. Unfortunately, the case is not moving forward, and while the police were at a standstill, something unexpected happened. The killer showed up. So what happened that year? Let's find out right now. At 4:40 p.m. on the 9th of August, the 9th of 99, Xinjiang's one-stop switchboard, I received a report of a murder. It happened in the apartment building where Mr. Wu's family is exhausted. A person whose wealth is in the billions is murdered. The accuser was the brother-in-law of the corn man, and she said it was about 11 a.m. She called her sister to invite her family to dinner, but there's no AI listening. She didn't mind and planned to call back later. There's still no AI at 4 p.m. You're just starting to feel like something's wrong. If you say your husband is busy, it makes sense not to answer the phone. My sister didn't answer the phone either. Even the two granddaughters' phones couldn't be reached. Aware of the serious situation, she immediately went to her sister's house. She called and didn't see anyone answer. He took the spare key and opened the door. As soon as she got inside, she smelled a strong goo smell. Her first reaction was, I think my sister's family may have had goo poisoning. She hurriedly opened the window and ran into the search room. I found out my sister's entire family had been murdered. In a state of panic, she immediately called the police. Police, after reporting the crime scene, all four of the family were tied up by the Unsolved, eyes and mouth glued with transparent adhesive tape. Preliminary forensics revealed she understood that her fans and daughters were strangled to death by the killer, injured 3 places on his neck from shock and blood loss. His daughter-in-law, because of being out, I was lucky to escape death. Due to the serious nature of the case, the special status of Mr. Korn, the Province Police Department and Xinjiang City Police Department formed a team. More than 60 people to coordinate the investigation. However, they did not expect. It's so difficult to investigate this bloody case. The victim's family conducted an autopsy. Police have not been able to determine the cause of death. Although the police found fingerprints at the scene, but there was no such thing as a fingerprint database. They can only compare and exclude suspects. It was a matter of urgency to determine the nature of the case. This is a hate or emotional murder, based on the Unsolved carrying a tape knife, along with the fact that the scene was seems to have prepared before. It's like a murder to rob property. But the strange thing is that according to the autopsy, it's true that the furniture is rummaged. In the bedroom, there were even tens of thousands of yuan that were not taken. The Unsolved killed for people but took only a small amount of property. This is ridiculous. Does the killer want to create a cover, robbing property to hide acts of revenge? At this point, forensics gave the police a clue. The autopsy report shows the victim understood that Fan was murdered. It's about 10 a.m. on August 9th, while the last victim was Mr. Wu. He was killed at 12:30. What this means is the Unsolved was at the scene for 2 hours. Why did he have to stay so long? Another group of police also started to investigate the social relationships of Wu the Great. They discovered that Mays is one of the founders of the company, Hengan, but he's very modest and has a good reputation in the company. No hatred for AI. However, the director of Hengan Group also provided unusual information. You said recently Corn Thistle frequently to a hotel to meet someone? Based on information this director provides, the police immediately arrived at the hotel to verify the situation. They know that woman's name is Sugar Man, from the economic city of Hubei province. A few years ago, she used to have business deals with peer-to-peer corporations. According to those who know, I recently lived in Guangdong. I don't know why he suddenly appeared in the cave. She stayed at the Peace Hotel a few days ago, and especially leaving the hotel in the afternoon the case occurred. Her whereabouts are currently unknown. So the police attacked John. Immediately send request for assistance in investigation to Hubei police. The unexpected happened. That morning, another director of the company, I got a call from a strange woman. In the call, the woman kept asking about corn. When he asked the woman's name, the call was dropped. Then the police confirmed the call came from the Tanter's counter of Nongho Hotel. Grasped the situation, Xinjiang police immediately request Fuzhou police to assist in the investigation. Unfortunately, the police came to Fujian. The woman left the hotel. Through investigation, the police know that the caller is a dead man. Why does she want to ask for information about corn? Does it have anything to do with? While the police are suspicious, I got a call from the hotel. P said, the road has returned to the hotel. And continue to inquire about the vice president's information. After receiving this information, the police immediately went to the hotel to investigate. She told me that she was going to meet her husband in New York. When we got there, we couldn't contact him. That's why she asked for information about him. After the investigation, the police also confirmed that she was not involved in the investigation is at a standstill. To look for clues, the police don't just report it, ask for investigative cooperation, but also offered a reward of 200,000 RMB to collect during 10 the investigation. The investigation team has received thousands of police have solved hundreds of cases, but there's no clue about this. The investigators were in a hurry. Right now, a man came to the police station to report. Said you might have a lead on the unsub. According to this man, the night before I was having dinner at a snack bar. He was robbed by 3 people. They have no money to eat. He had only $20 on him. But strangely, the next day I saw these people again pulling out a bunch of cash. After just one day, he suddenly became a man with money. The owner is suspicious and asked them where they're getting so much raw. One of them said, they just made a big case in the ocean. When he was showing off his money, the people next to him gave him made him immediately silent. Grasped the situation, the police immediately went to the restaurant to inquire about the 3. They discovered one of them, the Yellow Emperor, lives not far away. However, when the police arrived, they discovered the suspect was missing. Though they found some evidence in the suspect's room. It's almost identical to the scene. The case is under investigation. And from there, the police have more and more suspicion. After several days of tracking, on 17/8 and 9/99, the 9th day after the incident, the Emperor was arrested. The police initially thought the case would make no progress, but did not expect the king and his men are not the killers. Turns out that's because they blackmailed another old man. That there is. The case is once again closed. A month has passed. The case didn't just cause a stir in the country. It also affects the stock market of Hengan Group in Hong Kong. For this reason, Hengan Group increased the bonus by 1 million RMB, raised the total bonus amount to 2 million RMB. It's a huge amount of money. Many people are starting to get excited about money. One of them was a whistleblower call from a man named from the 6th quarter in Guangdong has attracted attention. This person said there one were 2. One is called Chen Xiaoping and the other is called 3OS. These 2 came to Anhai-Tunjiang in August this year. It's involved in a big case. From 6 for said that Chen Xiaojing sold BO phones, while Wu's house was in ruins after the crime. I also lost 3 phones. Moreover, Chen Xiaojing multiple convictions for robbery. Because of the special nature and of the importance of clues, the security chief decided to go to Guangdong to meet himself. The whistleblower. On 25/9 and 9/99, based on the information from the 6 sources, the police ambushed at a barbershop that Chen Xiaogun often visited and succeed in arresting. However, Chen Xiaogun still refused to admit to the crime. Finally, under the persuasion of the police, Chen Xiaogun just admitted he's done some robberies, but it's not related to the corn debacle case. After comparing fingerprints, the police also dismissed suspicions about Chen, and the clues of the case are once again severed. While the police are at a standstill, the victim's daughter-in-law, the ocean is forever, gave the police an important lead. She said she got a call from a strange man. This man claims to be the murderer. He killed the entire family. If the enemy pays 1 million, he could reveal the identity of his employer. The call made the police nervous again. Because you know the Korn family's phone number. You must be very familiar with them. Through investigation, the police found out that the call was from Xiamen. Tunjiang police immediately set off to Xiamen next to a public telephone station where the call was made. Meanwhile, another police team also proceeded listening to the Korn family's phone. The next day the phone rang again, but unfortunately, this time the unsub changed his call location. According to the call log, the police discovered he also contacted a man named Tran Din Bang. Based on clues, the investigators quickly found Tran Din Bang. According to Tran Din Bang, the person who called him Rose. The police immediately launched an investigation and discovered is the same hometown with they're all in the village and high town. More, Vu Hongkai is also a classmate of the Maze boy. The two houses are less than 100 meters apart. The police immediately went to the village and successfully obtained 10 fingerprints of Vu Hongkai. By comparison, they confirmed Vu Hongkai's fingerprint. It matches the fingerprints at the scene. The mastermind of the case was finally revealed through the investigation of the social relationship. The police discovered he contacted a security guard several times named Tran Vin San at a factory in Xinjiang. The police came to Xinjiang immediately to interrogate Tran Vin San. Originally, the police did not disclose any information about Vu Hongkai from the police. He finally admitted it. I falsified the papers for Vu Hongkai. I am currently using the false name of the Lord, hiding in Xinjiang City, Hebei Province. In the 17th of January 2000, police again to Xinjiang. Thanks to the coordination of the local police, they quickly found out the hiding place of the Rose. On the morning of January 18th, the police arrested the suspect in a particularly serious murder case. After 126 days, the team investigated across 16 provinces and 86 districts. We finally caught the killer. When I heard this news, the border is very shocked. She and her husband have been playing together since childhood. The relationship is very close. Why did he kill your whole family? Vu Hongkai was born in the year of 19 and 71 at the age of 55. He dropped out at a private auto repair shop. Rose worked very hard. After a few years, became one of the best technicians in the workshop. He earns more than 2,000 yuan a month. The salary was quite high at the time. For Kai, his biggest dream was to start a publicly traded company. Like corn. To make my dreams come true. At the age of 22, he opened his first auto repair shop. At first, he did everything himself, and the organization of the workshop was very organized. He could earn several 100,000 yuan a year. But the joy soon came. When Vu Hongkai's wealth increased rapidly, he began to be arrogant. Assign all work in the workshop to employees. I only know how to play the game. He doesn't know, even though his staff works very well. But in terms of management, they're completely inexperienced. In that situation, the business situation of the factory is not beyond expectations and eventually closed. The factory's closure caused Vu Hongkai a big shock. He believed that his company was bankrupt by God. It's not fair. While corn can be eaten, should do raw like that, surely God is biased. From there, the spirit of revenge and the intention to plunder. On the morning of the 9th of August, 9999, fruit, and a transparent tape to Wu's house. The one who opened the door was his wife, because the Rose often comes home. So I understand Fan did not hesitate to let him in. As soon as he walked in, he showed his evil nature. He immediately threatened and asked her to hand over all her property, and clasped her neck to death. He then stole over 6,000 yuan and 2 pieces of gold. When Kai was about to leave his 2 daughters for home, he used a knife to hide behind the door, waiting for the 2 sisters to come home to force them to tie their hands, and brutally murdered them both. After hurting 2 people, the corn is exhausted. Vu Hongkai once again repeats the old knife to your neck. I saw my son's best friend. He threatened me with a knife. The maze said, if you need money, I can give it to you. But at this moment, the Red Cross could no longer hear anything. He thought killing someone would. That's all it takes to kill 10 people. He initially tried to strangle the victim to death, but the corn struggled so hard that he was helpless. Finally, he had to stab him with a knife. Before leaving, he specifically cut off the gas line in the house. The relationship between him and his family, plus killing for people. It's obviously not like a one-man case. The police have no doubt about him. However, people like that are easily controlled by money. After the case happened, when I learned that Hengan Group offered a reward of 2 million RMB, I actively contacted Duong, taking advantage of this opportunity to defraud a large amount of money. In the end, he committed the crime himself. And here's the big case of John, causing shock at home and abroad, was successfully broken. He was sentenced to death, ending a life of crime. You can see that human jealousy is a terrifying thing. It can make someone who doesn't have a grudge against AI doing harm to others. They even end people's lives. It's all because of the 2 words envy. June 2nd, 7/98 in the Tokyo Marima area in Japan, a horrific massacre has occurred. It shocked the whole country. Unsolved with unprecedented atrocities. He killed a total of 6 members of a family. There's a kid in there who's only a year old. This shocking event, it doesn't just arouse obsession, it also created a wave of conflicting social responses. Instead of outrage and condemnation, many people show compassion, even understand the actions of the killer. What's behind this strange behavior? Why cold-blooded, mad, violent, that can shake the public's compassion? Right now, let's explore this haunting story with us. Behind the horrific massacre at Enarima, a land in Tokyo, where 5 members of the Tsuroi family, you have to pay with your life. The perpetrator of this case, Shosoku Akira, born 9/3 years a ripe 35 in Akita City, Akita Prefecture, Japan. The Sakura family is supposedly well-off family, thanks to the business, market, and butcher shop management, always living in a full outer curtain. They make their living mainly from the rent and management fees from small businesses, and their butcher shop is one of the most significant sources of revenue. However, the appearance is stable in the guise of a broken family. Suzu's father, a powerful but liberal man, living life away from the outside, with off-the-shelf relationships, left his wife and 6 children in need. Sozo's eldest son has carried a heavy burden since childhood. When I'm not home, Sozo doesn't just have to take care of mom and kids. We have to find a way to make a living. In the difficult years, Sozo even had to sneak into my lover's house to get rice, just so that his brothers don't have to go hungry. Sozo's childhood was the days, drowning in violence and nightmares. His father was known for his violent temper. Not only regularly beat his wife, but also willing to deal with the gangsters, using a Japanese knife and bamboo spear to fight those with handguns. His image in the family was like a nightmare. It's a symbol of oppression, fear and pain. Sozo grew up in the shadow of a violent dictator father. Bring yourself psychological wounds. It's the haunting memories from childhood to create a soul full of aggregates, cause Suzo to walk a path of sin that can't be turned back, leading to a catastrophic tragedy and later he caused. With a strong will, determination, Sozo overcame countless challenges to complete the training and officially received the certificate of real estate appraisal. In the year 1971, this seemed to be a milestone, marked a turning point in his career, open to a stable and promising future. But Sozo's life didn't go down the right path that he imagined. That led to the terrible tragedy of the year 1988, a disaster that shocked the whole of Japan. November 1971, Shu officially became a real estate appraisal candidate after 4 years of continuous learning and effort. On March 10, 1975, at the age of 40, he's got a real estate appraisal certificate. However, Sozo's career path was not smooth. A year later, in July of the 1976, he decided to start with a real estate appraisal office called Indochina. With narrow pond finance, Sozo uses his own house as an office to save costs and focus on company development. His wife, who is always there to support him, take on administrative work and make an important building credibility for the office, help the work grow, get trust from guests. Not long after that, in December of the year 1979, Sozo and his wife bought an apartment in the area, Shinshi, Tokyo. Expansion of business activities. He was also appointed as a judge at the Tokyo local court, a step forward in career, give the family a stable life and financial prosperity. However, this joy did not last long. Year 1 ripe 82, Sozo's wife fell ill due to work stress, to be hospitalized, to see his loving wife lying in a hospital bed. They are weak and have to take care of everything in the family. Sozo could not help but grieve and sorrow. He realized that even though the real estate give him some stability, but the profit from this job is not enough to meet family needs, especially when you're getting older and have to face financial difficulties. Even though it's famous for its hot air, Sozo always puts family first. I want to give my wife a happy life. Financial pressure from the cost of treatment for his wife, the cost of family living, and a lot of money needed to get my daughter to college and get married. The decision to change strategy. He turned to the real estate business, a field that promises to bring in quick profits. Recall that back home in Akita, there is still some property inherited from the father. Sozo plans to sell them for about 25 million yen. This is a large enough amount. Let him start his real estate investments. Hope that a successful transaction can bring profit up to 10 million yen, enough to handle the financial burden and bring a better future for the family. But behind the calculations, it's a continuous series of events. It's a series of dark events, and finally leading to the most terrible tragedy in Suzanne's life. A tragedy that Japan will never forget. April year 1980, Sozo decides to expand its business, moving from real estate appraisal to buy and sell real estate. It's a landmark decision. Determined to pursue a new path, Sozo changed its company name, Sozo Real Estate Appraisal Office, in July of the same year to clearly define the goal. Start a new phase in your career. 2 August, Sozo get a real estate business license in Tokyo, an important step forward to embark on the search for opportunities. November 1980, Sozo, a real estate investor with strong ambitions, but they're also facing financial pressure to see an unexpected opportunity in the real estate auction announcement special in Dragon Gokuen Nima, Tokyo. This property is not just a 2-story bungalow located on a large land area of 60,000 but also located square in a quiet and upscale residential area. It's a rare thing in Tokyo. The first floor is 76.03 square meters, and the second floor area is enough to make it attractive to investors. The lottery immediately recognized this is an opportunity to help him out of his stagnant financial situation. It opens up the prospect of huge profits if you can transfer this property. However, while Sozo dreams of 10 million yen in profit, then his wife is a cautious and practical woman. I can't hide my anxiety. Sozo's wife discovered the property is being rented, and under Japan's strict leasing law, the rights of tenants are reserved even when ownership changes. The new owner, Donti, just give at least 6 months notice if you want to terminate the contract, but also to support substantial relocation or find costs. A new place for rent. Normally this amount can be up to 5 million yen, not a small number in a difficult financial situation. Even so, the warnings from his wife were not enough to make Sozo falter. He believes he has calculated. After deducting the relocation fee and the expenses incurred, Sozo expects interest to remain at 10 to 20 million yen. More information from the auctioneers that forced evictions can be made, if necessary, give him more confidence. With certainty and a plan, the decision to sell the entire property for this deal. Mortgage loans or private homes, room or bank savings, even the remote mountains and forests. He borrowed 45 million yen from a high-interest bank, pay 1 million yen per month, and the deadline to repay the loan is the 30th of June 1998. This is a giant gamble, but Sozo convinced himself he couldn't lose. To halves years 1998 at Tokyo local math, Sozo successfully gained ownership of the real estate at a price of 106 million yen. After payment 100.8 million yen, he officially became the owner of the dream house. But the short fun is not gang. Just a few days later, Sozo receives unexpected information from the secretary in charge. The forced displacement of the Shiroi family, people who are currently hiring. It may not be possible for legal reasons. The previous assertion of the auctioneer, now a source of anger in Sozo's heart. He feels cheated, but it's too late to turn around. Surai family renters are not easy to deal with. Owner Surai Akira, a 45-year-old man full of bravery, is the head of management at a reputable trading company. He lives with his wife Shiroi Kyoko and their 3 children Fumiko, Masako and Mastoda, while the older son moved out on his own. With Akira Surai, a house is not just a place of residence, it's also a symbol of stability and peace that he built for his family. From the end of February to the beginning of the year 1998, she begins negotiation process with Suroi family. He started trying to be polite. He's offering a 5 million yen relocation fee and committed to helping them find a new place to live if they agree to leave before the end of the month. Roi's family initially proved cooperative to give Sozo temporary peace of mind that everything will go well. But the truth soon came out. The demands from Roi's family are increasing, from demanding a larger fee until the conditions cannot be met. Meanwhile, Sozo's bank debt is a noose, tightening every day, put him in an impossible situation. Sozo began to realize all of his original meticulous plans collapse, and the nightmare of legal and financial gridlock, it's slowly drowning him. They know they can't be forced to move. Shozo Sokuroga actively negotiates with the Suroi family. From the end of February to the beginning of the year 98, he visited many times, asked them to move before the end of the month, and pledged 5 million yen in compensation. To begin with, the Suroi family was cooperative. This makes him confident, signing a real estate transfer contract with a company. Apartment in 1/3 Ure 98 BA for 100 to 9 cents 5 million yen. The house must be empty. When handed over on 36 years A98BA, Sozo understand, if not handed over on time, he will be under pressure. Is double the deposit and put another 30 million in. Total financial pressure compensation of 175 million yen. By the end of the month, Sojo discovered that the Surai family had no intention of moving, despite his repeated conviction that all his efforts were in vain. My wife used to say that my husband is not home. I didn't know anything to push him back in helplessness. More ominous, the attitude of the Surai house is cold and distant, make the situation more tense. Despite warnings from lawyers that the Suroi family could deliberately extend the time, Sojo still hopes for a peaceful solution. When Shiroi Akira promised they'd move away immediately if Sozo withdrew the lawsuit, he believed it and did it anyway. Deep in my heart, he also felt something was wrong. Later results proved Sojo's gullibility to be false. The Surai family not only didn't leave, he also asked for 30 million yen in relocation. It's getting harder and harder to push Sojo in. Right now, he's just beginning to realize he's falling into a trap. The person behind this whole plan is the father-in-law of Surai, master in the field of real estate transactions. From year 197, father-wife Surai signed a long-term lease with the Suroi family so that they can seize property without coercion. After his company went through a financial crisis, the property was ordered to be sold at auction. However, with experience, he silently directed the Suroi family deliberately keep the house to force you to increase compensation. I didn't know about this conspiracy, still trying to negotiate as the deadline for the handover approaches. The anxiety and pressure are increasing. They're not only at risk of losing their property, it can also lose credibility in the real estate appraisal industry, which he spent years building. When the next debate is postponed from May 2nd to June 6th, and why the defense attorney needs more time, fall into despair. He knows if he doesn't hand over the house by June 30th, he won't be able to repay the 145 million yen loan. His fortune and future will end. Under increasing pressure, in the heart of Sozo arises the intention to kill. He thinks if it continues like this, there's only one way to kill them all. After deciding, Sozo told the lawyer there was no hope, and voluntarily withdraw the lawsuit. Late May and 98BA Sozo meticulous planning. He planned to dispose of the body in the Okigahara forest at the foot of Mount Fuji. Sozo doesn't know how to drive, but he also bought a car and learned to be able to move themselves to the victim. At the same time, he also rented an apartment about 4 kilometers from the series 100,000 yen to hide the body if necessary. On the morning of the 7th of June A98BA, Sozo thoroughly prepared for the plan. He politely tells his wife he's going to see his partner. Wait until your wife comes out. Sozo comes back and changes her body clothes, take the pre-prepared tools and leave again. He calculated the time at 3 p.m. to act, when the landlord goes to work and the surrounding area is quiet. Sojo drove near Suroi family home to observe, make sure there are no obstructions. About 3 p.m. Sojo ring the Suroi Kiko. Shirai's wife opened the door while her 2 young children and Masato are playing in the living room. At first Sozo kept a mild demeanor. I hope I can convince them. Last time he asked for the house. But Kyoko just coldly replied, everything has been handed over to the lawyer. This indifferent answer is like a glass of water. Make Sozo change his face. He threatened loudly. This land is mine. When are you going to move? But Kyoko ignored her back and walked into the living room. I can't control my anger. Sozo pulled out the police car hidden in his pocket, banging on Kyoko's head. The blow knocked her to the floor. In pain, screaming, trying to crawl towards the dining room to escape. But Sozo didn't give her a chance. He grabbed Kyoko by the collar, continued to attack repeatedly with fatal blows, until the victim's skull was completely shattered. Sozo knew stop hand, leaving Kyoko's lifeless body and blood. 2 children, Seika and Masato, witnessed the horror scene. I cried out of fear, but Sozo in the frenzy, without hesitation. They killed both children. Then he dragged BA's body into the carefully bathroom, put them in the bathtub with the lid on. Next Sozo Loa cleared the scene to hide, tried to create a normal living room. About 4 p.m. Fumiko, Shizuka's 9-year-old daughter, comes home from school. She walked into the house and saw Sozo sitting on the sofa. Asked no questions and go upstairs. Sozo asked suddenly, tomorrow is my mother's birthday and my father is not coming back. Fumiko innocently replied, my brother was traveling until the 29th. This statement confirms that the eldest son, lucky to escape tragedy, I won't show up at home today. But Fumiko is so unfortunate. The lottery immediately killed the girl on my 9th birthday, just one day after her mother's birthday. Sorry family, I had planned a 2-day birthday. But before the joy came, tragedy struck. After the commission of the crime, Sozo dressing up, pack up the tools and go back to the living room, waiting for Akira the father. It's about 9:30 p.m. Zoro continued to remain calm and even started criticizing Akira for not moving. When Akira was going to ignore all the criticism and walk away, suddenly pulled out the axe hidden behind his back. Rushing into the onslaught caused Akira to collapse on the spot. There was blood all over the floor. After examining and confirming Akira was dead, Zoro pulls the body into the bathroom. But fear of the noise might make the neighbors suspicious. He decided to wait until the next morning to deal with it. The next morning, Suri's family members, as planned, to come home. They're celebrating a birthday. Many calls, but no one answered. This makes them nervous. Feeling something unusual, they asked their neighbors nearby to check on them. The neighbor had the reticence to ring the doorbell. Suzuo appeared. He still looks calm and calm. Roy's family moved out yesterday. I live here now. My name is Roy. But that didn't convince the neighbors. Because today is my birthday. People. It is suspected that the Surai family may have been detained. The increased anxiety, they decided to call the police. When the police arrived, Sozo tries to sneak through the back door, but he was quickly caught. Undeniably, Sozo admitted to the whole crime. June of the 9th year 85, Professor Hitio Tokoshi, psychologist from the Faculty of Medicine, Vietnamese University of Arts, was invited to participate in Cho Sojo's psychological examination. The professor confirmed Sojo is fully awake when committing a crime. He is aware of right and wrong and have full control. More important, the professor pointed out that Sozo's actions are the result of detailed calculations. He's prepared 55 murder tools, including electric meat grinder, and rent an apartment in front of you as a hot hiding place. In the trial that took place on 18/10 years 1985, the prosecutor specified the seriousness of the case. Sozo argued that the Surai family did not cooperate in the handover, but in fact, they didn't commit a specific time to move. Instead of trying to solve it, Sozo put himself in a situation. It is difficult to sell the house without getting the property. It culminated in the brutal murder of a family of 5, including children. They even destroy the body to cover up the crime. The prosecutor emphasized this is an act of coldness, insensitive and completely devoid of human love, and recommended the death penalty. Although defense lawyer Nishimoto Tadayoshi, people who are in the final stages of cancer, I am dedicated to protecting Shozo Nishimoto. Criticism. Injustice in the real estate auction system in Japan led to tragedy. However, despite our Nishimoto died on 30/11 at the age of 85, just a month after the trial ended. 2010, 2 years a mature 85. Tokyo police sentenced Sojo to death. The court determined although depression, the victim's spirit and attitude can provoke these factors, it's not enough to justify murder. Cruel. Sojo's motivation comes purely from self-interest and unforgivable selfishness. The lawyer has appealed many times in the hope of reducing the punishment, but they're all rejected. January 2nd, year 1990, Tokyo High Commission upholds death sentence. 14/11-year-old matures 6. Japan's Supreme Court officially rejects appeal. Shozo with all the unforgivable crimes. He was executed in Tokyo prison on December 2nd, 2001. End of a sinful life. He enjoyed 66. This case shocked the Japanese public when it's been described in the media as a horrific murder. The level of brutality that's cold. Society almost condemned him for his cruel behavior. The rise of the internet in the following years. It opens up many new perspectives. That some people start to question the pressure, the spirit and desperation of Soju. Although I can't justify his actions, but the root causes of the cruel decision. It is also gradually recognized. It makes some people think about the circumstances in which he suffered. Look at the whole case. We see the real estate that the Surai family lives in. Sozo. Since the output was successful legally, he almost certainly won the case, and the Surai were forced to move. However, due to the pressure of the debt and the house is too urgent, I can't wait for the legal process, but instead, act in a way that is too serious. When you put all your assets into this business auction with the master real estate trader, Sozo's stuck in a quagmire with no way out. This case is not just a story of horrific crime. It's also a powerful wake-up call to society. It emphasizes the importance of solving problems in life calmly and reasonably instead of feeling haste or violence dominant. A decision lack of thought can lead to serious consequences. Can't be saved.